Sarah sat by the window, watching the rain softly tap against the glass. It mirrored how she felt, cold, distant, and alone. After her painful breakup with Mark, Sarah had sworn off love. She had given everything to that relationship, only to be left heartbroken and disillusioned. Her trust in love was shattered, and the idea of opening her heart again felt like an impossible task. Weeks turned into months, and while Sarah had gotten back into her routine, working, meeting friends, and keeping busy, there was a void in her life that she couldn't quite fill. Her friends encouraged her to start dating again, but every time she considered it, the memories of her failed relationship would creep back in. Love just isn't for me, she would tell herself. One afternoon, as Sarah sat in a small cafe with her laptop, working remotely as usual, she heard a familiar voice from behind her. "Sarah, is that you?" She turned to see Daniel, an old friend from college. They hadn't spoken in years, but seeing his face brought back a wave of memories. Late-night study sessions, group projects, and casual hangouts between classes. Daniel had been one of her closest friends during that time, always reliable, kind, and easy to talk to. After graduation, they had drifted apart, life taking them in different directions. "Daniel, it's been forever," Sarah said, surprised by how happy she was to see him. They hugged, and Daniel quickly pulled up a chair. "I can't believe it's you. How have you been?" They spent the next hour catching up, exchanging stories about their careers, mutual friends, and what had happened in their lives since college. As they talked, Sarah felt a warmth she hadn't experienced in a long time. Daniel's presence was comforting, and his easygoing nature reminded her of why they had been such good friends. Over the next few weeks, Sarah and Daniel kept in touch. They met up occasionally for coffee or lunch, reminiscing about the old days and learning about each other's current lives. Daniel had been through his own share of heartbreak, a divorce that had left him similarly wary of love. Despite that, he remained positive, always looking on the bright side and finding joy in the little things. One evening, they decided to have dinner at a cozy little restaurant that Sarah had always wanted to try. As they sat across from each other, sharing stories and laughter, Sarah felt something she hadn't in a long time: hope. There was an ease between them that felt natural, like no time had passed since college. And for the first time since her breakup, Sarah wasn't thinking about the past or heartache. She was simply enjoying the moment. As they walked out of the restaurant, the city lights casting a warm glow on the streets, Daniel turned to her. "You know, I've really enjoyed spending time with you again, Sarah." "It's been refreshing." Sarah smiled. "Me too. It's nice to reconnect with someone who knew me before everything got complicated." Daniel hesitated for a moment, then said, "Do you ever think about what might have happened if we had stayed in touch? I mean, we were really close back then." Sarah looked at him, surprised by the question. She had never considered it before. Back in college, they had been friends, but nothing more. She had been focused on her studies, and Daniel had always seemed like just a friend. But now, years later, with both of them having gone through their own struggles, the idea didn't seem so far-fetched. "I don't know," she replied honestly. "I guess I never really thought about it. We were both in such different places back then." Daniel nodded, his expression thoughtful. "Yeah, I guess we were, but I can't help but wonder if maybe now things could be different." The words hung in the air between them, filled with possibility. Sarah felt her heart skip a beat. Could she really open herself up to love again? And with someone she had known for so long? The next few days were filled with introspection for Sarah. She replayed their conversations in her mind, thinking about the easy connection they shared. There was no denying that Daniel had become important to her again, but she was scared. What if things didn't work out? What if she ended up heartbroken again? But Daniel wasn't like Mark. He was patient, kind, and understanding. He didn't push her or expect anything. Instead, he gave her space to figure out her own feelings. And slowly, Sarah began to realize that maybe this was her second chance at love. One evening, As they sat together on a park bench watching the sunset, Daniel turned to her. I know you've been through a lot, and I don't want to rush anything, but I care about you, Sarah. And if you're willing to take a chance, I'd like to see where this could go. Sarah looked into his eyes, seeing the sincerity and hope there. She took a deep breath, her heart pounding in her chest. I'm scared, she admitted. I don't know if I'm ready to go through that kind of pain again. Daniel reached out and gently took her hand. I'm scared too, he said softly. But I think it's worth it. I think we're worth it. For a moment, Sarah remained silent, her mind racing with doubts and fears. But as she looked at Daniel, she felt something shift inside her. Maybe love wasn't something to fear. Maybe it was something to embrace, even with all its risks. She smiled, squeezing his hand. Okay, she whispered. Let's see where this goes. And with those words, Sarah opened her heart again. It wasn't an easy decision, but it felt right. Daniel wasn't just offering her love. He was offering her a second chance, a chance to believe in love again, to trust again. And as they sat there, hand in hand, watching the last rays of sunlight fade, Sarah realized that sometimes love comes when you least expect it. Over the next few months, Sarah and Daniel's relationship blossomed. They took things slow, getting to know each other on a deeper level. There were moments of doubt and vulnerability, but they faced them together, always communicating and supporting one another. Sarah's walls, once built so high to protect her heart, began to crumble. She found herself laughing more, smiling more, and looking forward to the future with hope rather than fear. Daniel's love wasn't perfect, but it was real, and it was exactly what she needed. As the seasons changed and their bond deepened, Sarah realized something profound. Love wasn't about avoiding pain or heartbreak. It was about taking a chance, knowing that the journey, no matter how uncertain, was worth the risk. And with Daniel by her side, she felt ready for whatever the future held.